How to solve a linear equation. Let's go ahead and look at this today. I have a little 5-step method that I always use when solving linear equations. And remember, linear means exponent of 1. Step 1. That is to eliminate fractions. 95% of the adult American population hates fractions. So let's go ahead and eliminate fractions with what we'll call the least common denominator. The second step will be to eliminate parentheses. Now, many of you have studied before in algebra something called the distributive property. That's what we'll use to eliminate our parentheses. The next thing you will want to do would be to combine like terms. However, when you combine like terms, make sure that you combine like terms on the same side of the equation. Fourth step is to move like terms to solve or isolate the x term. And only last will you divide by the coefficient of x. Now, the coefficient of x is simply the number in front of x. Now, let's try these steps with our first example. Our first example, step 1, has no fractions. Step 2, it has no parentheses. And if you notice here on the left side of the equals, those are not like terms. So the first 3 steps of my system will not be used. What I will do right off is jump to step 4, and I will move terms over in order to get the x, or in this case the z, by itself. So let me bring down the negative 7z, and I'm going to move that negative 4.1 over. What I basically am doing is the opposite operation, so I will add 4.1. 3.6 plus 4.1 will give me 7.7. Then the last step is to divide by the number in front of the letter, the coefficient. And that will give me z equals negative 1.1. Notice I put a slash in my z because my z's and my 2's look a little alike. We say that the solution then is negative 1.1 for this first equation. Now, the second equation does have a little more to do. It does not have fractions, but it does have parentheses. So we will use a distributive property. The distributive property says take the number in front of the parentheses and multiply by everything inside parentheses. So negative 2 times positive 5 is a negative 10y. Then negative 2 times negative 1 is a positive 2. Bring down that negative y in the back because it was not in parentheses. Again, I'll use a distributive property. Negative 4 times y is negative 4y. Negative 4 times negative 3 is positive 12. Now here I will combine my like terms that are on the same side. Do not change the signs. Keep the signs the same here when I'm combining my like terms that are on the same side. So that's a negative 10 and a negative understood 1, and that will give me negative 11y. I will just bring everything else down. Now I've made it to step 4, where I need to get the y by itself. So I think I will just move this negative 11 over, change it to a positive 11y, and that will leave me 2 equals, let's see, negative 4 plus 11 is 7y. Now we'll need to move this positive 12 over, subtract that. Remember, you're using inverse or opposite operations. That will give me a negative 10 equals 7y. And last but not least, I will divide by 7. So my solution is y equals negative 10 over 7. It is a fraction. It's okay to get a fraction as an answer. And it doesn't matter which side you bring the y to. Now, here in our third objective example, we need to recognize something special can happen. You could get an equation with no solution. An equation with no solution is called inconsistent. Inconsistent. Some textbooks call it a contradiction. An equation that has every number in the world as the answer, that has all real numbers as solutions, it is called an identity. Let me show you what these will look like. If we look at our left-hand example, I will use the distributive property to get 3x plus 3 plus 5 equals 3x plus 2. Now, if I combine my like terms with the 3 and the 5, that will give me 3x plus 8 equals 3x plus 2. Now, if I bring over my x term, remember I have to do the opposite operation, that will leave me 8 equals, aha, the x terms cancel. That's 0 plus 2, which is 2. Now, whenever the x terms cancel out altogether, one of these two things will happen. So let's look and see what is here. Is 8 equal to 2? No, it is not equal to 2. So this would be inconsistent. You will see a symbol written like this that means no solution. This one is inconsistent. Now, in this second example to the right, I again will use the distributive property, and it looks very similar. Now I will combine my like terms. 3 plus 5 is 8 again. But notice, the terms on both sides are identical. If it's identical, you can stop right there. That means it's an identity. If you do try to move a term over, let me move that x term over. That gives me 8 equals 8. Is 8 equal to 8? Yes, it is. So we say that this answer would be all real numbers. Every number in the world would serve as a solution here. It's an identity. I hope this has helped you a little with learning how to solve linear equations. Good luck!